The night they said it, the room felt like it shrank around me. Pay up or leave this family. Your choice. They didn't raise their voices. They didn't argue. They said it the way someone might mention an overdue bill, calm, clinical, detached. Like I wasn't their child, just someone who'd overstayed their welcome. I stared at the dining table. The same table where we'd shared birthdays, quiet dinners, school mornings. The same place that once felt warm and familiar. That night, it felt like a boardroom, a negotiation space. How much? I asked. My father slid a paper across to me. A list. Groceries, utilities, medical expenses, house contribution, even a line labeled miscellaneous support. The total at the bottom looked like rent for a roommate, not a child. You live here. You eat here. You use everything here, my mother said. It's time you start paying your share. I had just started working. My paycheck wasn't big, but it was mine. I had plans, dreams, a future I was building slowly. But none of that mattered to them. All they saw was income. I already help, I said. I pay for things. I run errands, that's not enough. My father cut in. Either you contribute properly, or you leave. We're not running a charity. Charity. The word echoed in my head. Was that what I was to them? A burden that needed to justify their existence with money? I didn't fight. I didn't beg. I didn't cry. I just nodded. Okay. They thought I meant I'd pay. I meant something else. That night, I sat in my room in the dark, looking at the walls I grew up with. The posters, the books, the memories. Suddenly, everything felt temporary, and I realized something painful and clear. If your place in a family depends on payment, then it isn't a home. It's a contract, and contracts can be terminated. Before sunrise, I packed a small bag, clothes, documents, my laptop. I left everything else behind. No drama, no confrontation, no goodbye. They gave me two options. I chose. I rented a tiny room above a mechanic's shop across town. The fan rattled louder than it cooled. The paint peeled. The place smelled of oil and dust. But when I locked the door behind me, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Relief. No one watched what I ate. No one calculated electricity usage. No one silently kept score of my existence. I slept on the floor that night, using my bag as a pillow. And somehow, I slept better than I had in months. The weeks after were tough. I stretched every rupee, walked instead of taking transport, ate simple food, learned how little a person really needs when they're no longer trying to prove they deserve space. I worked harder, stayed late, learned fast. Not for praise, just for stability. And my parents? They didn't call. Not the first day. Not the first week. Not even the first month. At first, it hurt. Then it became information. They hadn't wanted me. They had wanted my money. And once I wasn't paying, I simply stopped existing. That realization erased guilt. I hadn't abandoned them. I had accepted their terms. You said pay or leave. I left. Months passed. My salary improved. I moved into a small apartment, then a better one. I bought my own furniture, my own dishes, my own bed. Every item had a story of effort behind it. One evening, my phone rang. It was my mother. I stared at the screen before answering. Hello? Her voice was softer, hesitant. How are you? I'm fine. A pause. Then, why did you leave like that? I almost laughed, not out of disrespect, but disbelief. You told me to. Pay up or leave. I chose. Silence. Then, we didn't think you'd actually go. That one sentence said everything. It was never meant to be real. It was control. A threat. Pressure. She told me bills were piling up. My father's medical expenses were rising. They were struggling. And then she said it. We need help. Not we miss you. Not come home. Not we were wrong. Just we need help. I felt no anger, just clarity. I can help, I said, but not the way you expect. She listened. I'll support you as a child, not as a tenant. No lists, no price tags on my presence, no conditions tied to money, and I will never live under a roof where my value is measured in currency again. She didn't argue. She couldn't. The power had shifted. I wasn't speaking from their house anymore. I was speaking from mine. I started sending them money later voluntarily. Not because they demanded it, because I chose to. And that difference mattered. When I visited months later, the house felt smaller. Same table, same chairs, different air. They spoke to me carefully now, respectfully, like someone they didn't want to lose again. They learned something simple and painful. Love can be invoiced, and a child treated like a bill will eventually stop showing up. As I left that night, my father walked me to the gate. He didn't say much, just one sentence. We were wrong. That was enough. The real victory wasn't leaving. It was coming back on my own terms. Slowly, things changed. My mother asked if I'd eaten, not as a reminder of costs, but as care. My father listened more, interrupted less. No more lists, no more calculations in their eyes, and I wasn't angry anymore. Distance had given us perspective. They learned pressure doesn't sustain a family, and I learned some people only understand damage when consequences arrive quietly. I still help them, but now it was respect, not obligation. Choice, not coercion. The biggest change was inside me. I wasn't a child trying to earn a seat at the table. I was an adult who could walk away and still choose to come back. When they said, pay up or leave, they thought they were forcing a decision. What they really did was teach me how powerful walking away can be.